Welcome back to Munro Live. My name is Chris Lambertson. I am the resident expert in driving assistance systems and self-driving vehicles. Today we're going to be talking about the Mercedes flagship sedan, the EQS, which has a plethora of driving assistance features that I'll walk you guys through. Before we hop in, I want to walk around the car real quickly just to show you the hardware that you can see on the outside of the vehicle that lends itself to the many functions that we're going to go see on the road. So starting up at the front here, ultrasonic sensors surround the front clip of the car. There should be 6 on the front, 6 on the rear. Those sensors are really geared toward low speed scenarios, parking lot kind of stuff. So if you've ever been in a car that beeps when you're backing up to a wall or inside your garage, that's those guys. Up front here is a camera. So this is going to be also used in those lower speed parking style situations. They've got a pretty cool display that uses that camera and some others that are around the rest of the vehicle to make a really cool 3D view of the car that you can see from the inside. Also, probably behind this badge or somewhere up in this grille is going to be a long-range radar sensor in the center, and on the corners some more short-range sensors as well. So I'm coming around to the side here. Underneath the side view mirror, one of those cameras again that'll project the view from outside the car into the display inside. And almost forgot the most important piece up here in the windshield. 2 cameras up here. Those work together to detect really whatever's going on out in front of the car. So vehicles, pedestrians, lane lines, speed signs, things like that. Coming around to the back, not too much to see back here. Ultrasonic sensors again in the clip. You've got, oh, it just went away. There's a camera, this badge kind of will rotate. There's another fisheye camera up under there. And then what you can't see behind this bumper are at least a radar in each corner, potentially one more back here in the center. Not sure, it's kind of hard to see from underneath if there's one in the middle or not for those really long range situations to see what's going on behind the car, mostly for driving on the highway, Autobahn, things like that. So that's about it for the sensors on the outside. Let's hop in. All right, so this is my first time driving this vehicle. I have went through some of the settings to set some of those up, and you can kind of see backup camera here and then that 3D viewing camera on the other side of the screen. Let's see if we can make that bigger actually. Maybe it will only do me this in reverse. Looks like I can change the views here. Yeah, looks like it's all it's going to give me while I'm backing up. It keeps that backup camera prioritized. So we're going to spend a minute driving around the parking lot, checking out some of these systems. The image quality of these cameras jumps out at me as being very good. At first, very smooth. The guidelines for your tires kind of showing the tire path that it's going to take, and then it looks like the tire path being this shaded line, and then maybe the very perimeter of the body of the vehicle. So when I back up, my tire is going to follow that, and maybe this is indicating where the nose of the car is going to come around at. So kind of cool. I haven't seen that in other vehicles. So we'll see if we can. Got a front camera picture coming up now. When I go faster, I bet that'll go away. Let's try to switch it into an automatic parking mode here. Let's see. That's that. Is it this one? No. Okay, so they have different preset views so you can see around the vehicle. There we go. Yeah, so this is stitching together the images from those 4 cameras on the bumper underneath the side view mirrors and on the back bumper underneath that badge, and it creates this really nice, pretty good quality image. When you get close to things right here, you can see there's an SUV about 3 or 4 feet outside the vehicle. Because of the lenses on these cameras, that makes that distortion very apparent when you're really close to vehicles, but for stuff that's farther away, looks pretty good. So let's see if we can get this thing to park itself. There, parking assistance. Oh, here we go. Select direction, start with parking button and operating panel. Where's the operating panel? So this is it. Oh, here we go. We are off. Let's see where it takes me. Looks like it's going to slot me into this spot right here. Coming pretty close to both vehicles. It should maybe stop and redirect me, or no. Let's see if it got really close to that vehicle there. It does not have me anywhere near centered between these two vehicles. Pretty disappointing. We'll try that again from maybe a slightly different position. So far the auto parking in my Tesla is way better than this, especially in terms of trying to activate it. Let's pull up here and try to park between the Kia and this Ford Explorer. So let's see if I kind of help it out, angle the vehicle a little bit. And let's see, is it this one I hit? Yeah. Okay, so now the car is taking over. I angle it towards the spot a little bit more to help it out. Let's see how it does. Looks like we're coming in fairly centered between these two other vehicles. You can see the ultrasonics picking up. I was getting close over here. And stops me right at the edge of the concrete. So still not centered between these two cars, a little disappointing. Doesn't appear that those surround viewing cameras are really picking up these parking lines. If they were, I'd expect myself to be centered on the parking lines, and usually ultrasonic parking systems will get you fairly nicely centered between, both of the cars on each side of you. But so I think I have to say I like this feature in my Tesla a little bit more than how Mercedes has done it here. So anyway, all right, so we're go get on the road and check out some of the higher speed features. Yeah, I mean, these features, they've really started to make their way into production cars about 10 years ago. They've gotten better and better over time. And it just seems like Tesla's always one step ahead of what the competitors are doing with their software, given the hardware that they have in that vehicle. So, but aside from the user experience of trying to activate the self-parking, I'd say it operated fairly smoothly, which I like. The Tesla can be a little bit more abrupt in its steering inputs and in braking. But overall, ease of use, I think I prefer the Tesla system. So I will go hop on the highway and try out some of the adaptive cruise control and lane centering, which Mercedes will let you use at the same time, making this a level 2 system on the highway. So I can see right now in the heads-up display that you guys probably can't see on the windshield, but in the cluster here, the little green lane line showing me that lane keep assist is available. So if let me check the traffic around me. If I kind of drift off to the side, I'll get a little counter steering. See the change from green to red. That's indicating it's providing me some steering torque assistance, and it's just really subtle, nudging me back into the lane. That's really nice. So it's not too aggressive or abrupt. It's not going to surprise somebody if they don't know the features on the car. So it's one of the biggest complaints I've had to deal with in my career before I came here to Munro was developing these features at different car companies, and biggest complaint we'd get was, my car is trying to drive itself and drive me off the road, and the people would be complaining and they don't even know the lane, just the lane keeping that's trying to keep the car in the lane. But they didn't know it was on the vehicle. So if you don't know it's there, it can be a little surprising. So I came to stop at a traffic light here, and it popped up this picture-in-picture showing me the red light up over there. So I guess in addition to these two other cameras that are doing the machine vision up here, they must have a third camera that's giving you that dash cam type view, and I think I can see that right here. So that was a setting. You can have this come up every time you apparently stop at a stoplight to let you know where the traffic light is. Interesting feature. So I'm gonna see if I can't get the adaptive cruise and lane centering working on this thing, which is, those two features combined are pretty similar to like Super Cruise that you can get from GM, the autopilot system from Tesla, and from Ford, the Blue Cruise system. So we're gonna see, I think, get ACC activated, adaptive cruise control, and it gave me an icon here showing that looks like lane centering is also activated. And now it's controlling my distance to the vehicle ahead of me. And it's kind of neat. I don't know if it's possible to film the HUD from over my shoulder, but I can actually see on the heads-up display there's a little green line underneath where that truck is on the windshield. So it kind of shows me visually where it's controlling the distance to the vehicle ahead. I kind of like that. Gives you a nice visual cue on kind of what the system sees and where it's gonna let you go. So, but I just had my hand lightly on the steering wheel. It drove me through that whole curve, and I'll see if it has a lane change assist. If I hit the blinker, yep. So I indicated that I wanted to change lanes. It did the lane change for me, and then I'll turn the blinker off. And even on the HUD, it was projecting on the windshield the path from the lane I was in to this lane, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of see what it's doing. So similar to, I'm not sure if Super Cruise does that. I'm sure they have some type of information in the cluster. I haven't driven one of those cars yet, but Tesla kind of does the same thing with showing the planned path of the vehicle. See, now it adjusted my speed limit down here, presumably because it saw the construction barrels and construction speed limit sign. So it changed the speed limit here to 60 and automatically adjusted my speed. I could override it, I think right here, if I change my set speed on the steering wheel buttons here. So here's another speed limit sign for 45 when workers are present. Let's see what it does when I drive past it. Yep, now it's adjusting me down to 45, but it doesn't see the rest of the text on the sign where workers present or really know how to process that information. So I haven't seen any systems in market today that can actually do that level of traffic sign recognition. So, but I guess it is pretty good if you're driving into a construction zone and don't realize that it'll let you know that the speed limit is reduced and then take the system speed down. You can always override it if you want to. I'm getting into a little bit of traffic here, so let's see how it starts reacting to people cutting in front of me and doing all sorts of stuff. So again, pretty smooth brake control when that Lincoln changed lanes in front of me, and now we're stuck behind a slower truck and I've got traffic coming up on my left. I'm going to see what happens when I indicate a lane change right here. So it's not letting me right now because it sees traffic in my blind spot. It's giving me the warning as well. So I'll turn that turn signal off and wait for traffic to clear, and we'll try that later. So now traffic on my left is starting to clear, and I'm going to indicate right here and let's see if it takes me over. I've got another car coming up on the left though, so looks like it sees that pretty far away and is not going to initiate the lane change for me. See if it'll take this gap. No. Oh, here we go. It looks like it's changing a little slow lane change. I'm sure that guy behind me might not have appreciated that too much, but now we're back up to our set speed and moving right along. And again, driving through these curves for the past half mile or so, or mile, really, I had full confidence that it was going to keep me right in the center of the lane, and it's very smooth steering inputs, so I like that a lot. It definitely keeps with the smooth ride quality and quietness of the vehicle. Having those smooth inputs from the system when it's doing this type of control feels very, very cohesive and thoughtful. Oh, maybe I should have got that last exit. Up into traffic. Let's see how it does with this. And I'm going to take over here. Yep. So there we got in a little forward collision warning event. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what the system did there, we're coming up to traffic jam. This cruise that was in front of me changed lanes to get in the lane with less traffic, and the system did not respond very quickly to the slower moving vehicle that was ahead of him. So I went and took over and changed lanes to avoid the system. System probably would have stopped me, but I did not want to find out on the public roads like this. So that's stuff you do on a test track. So change lanes. One thing I did notice when I got the alert, my seatbelt clinched. I don't know if you felt that on your side too, Eric, if your seatbelt got tighter or not.
Light just flashed for me.
Okay. All right, so we're back in one piece. Overall impressions of the driving experience. Obviously, it's a very expensive Mercedes-Benz. It drives like you're on a cloud, sitting in a pot of honey. It's wonderful. The driver assistance features, it was interesting. The last Mercedes I drove that had features like this, I think it was a 2015. So it's been a couple years since I've been in one of their systems, and it is similar, but just overall more refined experience. Everything's a lot smoother, much more capable in terms of driving through curves on the highway, as we got to see. So yeah, and from a ride and comfort standpoint, it's wonderful. I could drive this car until the battery died and be as comfortable as ever. So yeah, I really like it. I'm curious to see how this new system compares to some of the new stuff from GM, Ford. We can get our Tesla over here working with FSD beta. I'd be really curious to do some back-to-back comparisons with that as well. So yeah, if you like the content here, hit like, subscribe, leave some comments of anything else you'd like to see below. Thank you.